Hello, 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 everyone. Trying to wait for my guest, trying to connect, and I'm also trying to see um, if I can get Deborah on this way. So bear with us. I don't have any music, so bear with us and let me see if I can. Um, I'm looking at two different monitors, everyone. So Deborah, if you're watching, see if you can do a request so I can bring you on. While we're trying to come on together, I just want you guys to know that we have some serious issues in the community, and we're gonna talk about them tonight. Also, Deborah will be a guest on the podcast for Tuesday, so if you guys will please tune in for Tuesday, and we're also going to have Coach Marie back on as well. So I'm just trying to get acclimated to the different devices and get everyone to come on so that we can start solving some problems. As you know, I have mentioned before, this is where I'd like to use my platform to help have a solution and come together and brainstorm, because there is a lot going on, and just want to start using my platform so that people can find their way and do whatever we need to do to get in alignment naturally, however we need to get in alignment. A lot of people are suffering and they have all these social platforms, but I think it needs to be repetition. Okay, so continuously. So bear with me. I'm trying to see if I can find another way. Can you guys hear me okay? How about the volume? Is that okay as well? Okay, Deb. She's been busy, so I'm giving her a chance to come on, okay? And you know, I think it's because I'm on the Simply Jewel Cosmetics and Health Services. That's the platform, Simply Jewel Cosmetics and Health Services. Okay. So yeah, as we were talking about these warming shelters, like I said, there's so much to talk about. There's so much that people haven't thought about. And that's what we're going to be talking about um, tonight. Like I said, I'm using two different monitors, so bear with me. We'll get the ball rolling shortly. And while you're waiting, Simply Jewel, I'm gonna be selling my lipsticks, eyeshadow, all kinds of eyeshadows, lipsticks, nail polish. I'm gonna start doing lives here on Facebook. For those that's been asking me, that's what we're going to start doing on Monday. Tuesday's the podcast, and every Saturday, well, let me back up. So I'm going to be busy. Monday is going to be the cosmetic sales on Facebook. Tuesday is the podcast on Simply Jewel Atypical Podcast. Tuesday afternoon, I'll be on with my buddy Martin on Tuesday afternoons and Thursday evenings. And then Saturday, I'll be on with Deborah. We're going to be talking about this every week, bringing awareness, mental health, homelessness, warming centers, and just trying to see who's able to come on and talk about it. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, it may be delayed on one side, but I'm still here. Okay, so let me see. I'm not sure how to do it. I can't. Are you able to? Let's see. Stand by, everybody. We're trying to get her on. I'm not sure how to invite. It's not allowing me. I'm still trying to find a way to get you on. So, let's see. Stand by. So, see if you can request to come on. Okay. So, let me try it another way, guys. Stand by, okay? It's got to be alive, Deb. See if you can um, look at the bottom. Does it just say share? There we go. So everyone, this is live. So I will probably edit for, and we'll add it. You are adding on now. We'll get there. Perfect. We
Hey,
did
how are
it.
you?
I'm
Yeah, I had to get off
well.
my
How are
lap. I had to get off my laptop and do it on my phone, so I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I know it's a lot going on, and I'm just glad that we were able to do it. Take your phone and push it up if you can. There you go. You're looking good. You're a long time no see.
Absolutely. It's good to see you as well.
Yes. Well, let's get to it. I was trying to see if I can share it. I'm working on different platforms just so that we can bring awareness. But I didn't say too much because I wasn't sure how we were going to do this. But can you please introduce yourself? This is, I can say, Deborah Noel Shaw, a hometown friend, and we're in two separate parts of the world. But I did let them know that you will be on the podcast Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, so that we can talk about some of these issues. So while you're introducing yourself, tell them a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, and I'll start sharing, okay?
All right. Good evening, everyone. She's giving you my name, but I am in the state of Tennessee now, and I am an executive director of a prevention coalition. I've been in this position about 18 months. It's been extremely rewarding. We do substance use prevention, so we deal with tobacco, vaping, alcohol, opiates. Um, Also, we address mental health. We do a lot of training in our community surrounding the topic of different mental health with children as well as adults, because we see a lot of that, and many people that have substance problems um, have some mental health problems as well. So that's a little bit about what I do.
Thank you. And let's see. So let's talk about, because you and I have had some serious conversations. There seems to be a disconnect in the community. I know we have warming shelters, but tell us a little bit about, the issues like the warming
Mhm.
shelters we talked about. You're in Tennessee, the increasing and alarming homelessness in the community. So tell us a little bit about what it looks like in your community, and let's try and figure out what we can do to bring awareness uh, to those that are listening and want to get involved, like worldwide, statewide.
Well, I truly believe that warming stations are important. Not all communities in America have homeless shelters. And even if they do, they probably don't even have enough or homeless shelters to accommodate the homeless need. There's a lot of increase in our area, and we wanted to do something a few weeks ago so that we would know that people were not freezing to death. as part of our of prevention, the main part of it is to bring awareness and education. So when we started the warming station, it merely was to bring education and awareness to a need in our community, because I would often see people and they were saying, do we have homeless people in our community? Um, yes, every community has homeless people. You just kind of they blend in. Many times they don't come out until the evening time. So if you're home by 5 or 6 o'clock, sometimes they're not leaving or coming out till 7 or 8 o'clock at night trying to make a move so they can stay off, quote unquote, the grid. So we had this conversation. We decided that we were going to um, open up a warming station in our community at our office and see exactly what we would learn from the assessment. Well, in doing that, we ended up having 8 people that actually stayed overnight with us. We were responsible. We fed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner those days. Also, in the part of Tennessee where I'm at, we experienced some snow. So unlike the Midwest, when it snows, the whole city shuts down. Nobody goes to work. It's icy roads. We don't have all that equipment all the time that it does, like it in certain states that are accustomed to snow. So we not only were taking care of the 8 individuals that were here, we had people that were displaced, that were in hotels that needed food. We had seniors that could not drive in this, that we were taking food. So we saw how widespread what we felt was a small situation, it began to grow. Then in the midst of that, there were some fires here where a couple of families lost everything. So they needed clothing. What we have in our prevention coalition, we provide free clothing and free food to individuals. We just believe that that's important. We look at it that people are in between their blessings. They're having management problems. They don't really know how to cook in some cases. They're used to, fast foods. And so the survival skills and education just varies from community to community. It was a very empowering experience, I feel. We did case management with all of the individuals before we transitioned them into a hotel. But even 2 weeks later, I'm still doing case management with them to help them find jobs and try to help them get ID, get medical care, and try to find housing for them on the long term.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say that that is a problem. A lot of people who are now homeless don't have ID. So they can't do a lot of things without their identification. Wow, yeah, so that's increasing. That's also increasing as well. So do
Absolutely.
you have enough help? Like, how many people are helping you where you are?
Well, I'm very thankful. Our coalition is about 15 to 20 people, and we had a fantastic meeting today where we involved more of the community that wanted to become involved. These are people that actually donated food and clothing and see this as a need. We had some pastors in the room. So I think we started a positive dialogue, because most churches have kitchens and have hospitality committees and people that help during, bereavement time. So it was having a conversation, sharing our experience, and where do we go from here? Because right now it's in the 30s, but we may get snow and cold weather soon. And then I wanted us to be proactive and start planning now, so when that happens, we will have some systems in place. So
Yes, yes, yes. So
we mentioned at what time, like what rules do you guys have in place? And I know everybody's in different states, but how is it that I'm just trying to figure out a way for everybody to use critical thinking and come up with solutions and not just be so by the book or have these guidelines, because when you're dealing with human beings, you don't always fit the guidelines. You don't you can't put everybody in the same box. So what can you tell us about what you guys are doing different?
Well, I have to be honest, Jewel. I don't want to say that I'm a rebel, but I had no guidelines. Some of it was just these people have to sleep. So we had to come up with that need, and they needed to be fed. Those were the top immediate needs that that we knew we needed to fulfill and keep them warm. The community, I'm very thankful for the community because they really rallied and brought us food before this happened. We had made a warming station flyer that ended up going viral. Um, we were given blankets and sleeping bags and comforters and hot chocolate and hot apple cider. People donated coffee pots. They electric kettles for us to be able to heat things. And what's unique about our facility, we do not have a full kitchen. We have a sink and a microwave and a refrigerator. We have no stove. So what was very unique, we cooked off of crock pots. I mean, we made it do what we needed to do to meet a need in this community during that temperature. And, a lot of our local restaurants donated food to us. We were given chili. We were, some of them closed because of the weather, and they had already prepared items. So we had chicken and dressing, and other people that saw the post said, hey, I'm going to fix you some green beans and some mashed potatoes. So they were actually able to have a Christmas meal instead of maybe soup or sandwich or something. And we all toughed it out and we made it doable. I was fortunate enough to be able to stay on the property all of the time. So it was a learning thing. And I kept asking God, what do we do next? And he truly just said, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. It's going to be okay. And it was. And to see so much support, the people are so appreciative. One of the gentlemen came back today needing food, even though the station is down right now because the temperatures are above freezing. We have still been
Okay.
feeding these individuals at night. Their need didn't go away. They are still homeless. They are sleeping in their vehicles. They sleep wherever they can find someplace safe to sleep. In our state, if you're caught on public property sleeping, you can be arrested and charged with a felony now. So they have to be very discreet, live off the grid, and be very private because they have, not only do they have mental health issues, but they have trust issues, particularly with law enforcement, because they feel
Right.
like if they see them and they're identified, they're going to arrest them and take them to jail. And that's not the case, So I'm thankful for what we learned. And now I get to, I guess, play it forward and mentor other people in the community because we came up with a plan. Some of the churches were here and they want to expand it and possibly open up their church facility for warming
Nice.
stations moving forward.
That's nice. That's what I was going to ask you about because, you know, here I don't hear a lot of people coming together. I don't hear that it is a major concern. Like to me, it should be on the top priority list. So I'm having a hard time understanding why it's not a priority, or maybe I'm under a rock or something. But I'm asking, where are the people that are getting involved? How can people become unified? Not just hear about it, but literally get involved. And for some reason, it seems like there's a trust factor on many levels, because certain people don't want to come together with certain people. And I'm just trying to figure out, what is it that we can do. Like you say, if we can continue to do this weekly to bring awareness, talk about different issues, like we talked about people in homeless shelters with their um, health aid, or with their
Mm-hmm.
animal, their pet. Let's talk about some of these issues, and what do you think we can do to solve or help or get people to realize being homeless is not just because you have mental issues. You could be working poor and homeless. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. Post COVID, so much changed in our society, and I don't think we totally understand the impact on many levels. There are a lot of people that lost jobs because they refused to take vaccinations. People made choices that they felt were in their best interest. And we have to respect that. You know, cost of living is going up, and many people's wages are not going up. Some of the people that are in these situations have cognitive disabilities. You deal
Right?
with language barrier sometimes, reading ability. They fall through the cracks on so many levels. There's a lot of stigma that's attached to homelessness, and people don't realize people are homeless on different levels. We
Right.
have a senior population that is kind of not being addressed and kind of has fallen in that place. They are barely making it. They may have a roof over their head, but I have found out in what we do, there are a lot of people in our community that have no water. We have people
Oh,
here
wow.
that have no electricity. They can't afford to pay a rent deposit and your first month rent and a $200 or $300 deposit on utilities in some of these situations, because they have other bills that they're responsible for as well. So we have to look at each person's situation. Many agencies now have lost funding or have limited funding, so they're not able to help as many people as they were helping at one time. I think our need is increasing, but the income and the resources are not increasing as rapidly as the need is.
Right, right.
So
That is for sure.
yeah, and I, Jewel, you and I have talked about this on several levels. I truly think that it starts with education. Um, we can't be afraid to talk about it. Some people are totally homeless. Some people are just misplaced. Um, but we've got to help people find resources in their state or in their community. That's very, very important. We have to.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to talk about it. The needs where you are may not be the needs where I'm located in Tennessee. We could have some similarities, but we have to be willing to identify it. I shared today with the meeting of people specifically about the warming station. I really want to see churches become more actively engaged, and not everybody wants to have someone that's dirty in their building, or that may have a body odor, because you have to realize these people are not able to bathe. Our facility has 2 restrooms, and we gave them survival kits. It had, toothbrush, toothpaste, some water, deodorant was in there. We also gave them body wipes. We tried to give them what we could till we could do something differently. And on the 4th day, we were very thankful. Another agency called and said, "How many people do you have there?" And they were able to transition them to an area hotel where they were able to go and take a shower. Since then, several have told me, we haven't been able to shower in weeks. That was a big deal to them. And we take having lights and water sometimes for granted, that we have those amenities. And some of them have not had those amenities in months, days. For them to be able to just go get a cup of hot chocolate or a cup of coffee and to have a meal. They all said, "This is the best I've eaten for a while." We just, some of us go out to eat 2 or 3 times a week and don't even think anything about it. But some of them are digging through trash cans looking for their next meal.
That is true, and that's why I'm saying, I have no problem sounding the alarm. It's time for people to hear what's going on, real stuff, real issues. I think I mentioned before, do you have a platform for likes, or are you trying to do something, bring awareness, or, just putting information out there for someone to use? So if you guys are watching, please make sure you share this. Like I said, I'll also put it on YouTube, and I'll edit the first however many minutes, just because some people, we got delayed, but oh well, that's what live is all about. But I just think that we can talk more about the stigma of health and wellness. Also, to tell a little bit about the DL Wellness Center, because even though it's in Tennessee, you also can, do you receive people from all over the state, or how does that work?
Well, we're licensed in Tennessee. However, due to COVID, telehealth can be done throughout the state now for mental health and for addiction. DNL Wellness is a totally separate entity than the Prevention Coalition. It is an addiction medicine clinic. We call them OBOTs. It's an outpatient treatment facility for someone that's struggling with opiates. And we feel in that mental health is extremely, again, very, very important. These people have a lot of trauma sometimes. Some have been victims of domestic violence. Some were introduced to drugs from their parents early in childhood. Some have experienced addiction because of loss, of grief, trying to cope through that. And we have to recognize you never know what someone's dealing with on the inside of them. They may be smiling and looking like life is grand, and inside they may have a lot of turmoil and lots of things that they are dealing with inside of them. And because, again, of trust, They're afraid of being judged sometimes, or the stigma of, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody about that. They choose not to share. So
Yeah.
it's having these open conversations, I feel, Jewel, to raise the awareness, because we have to start talking. We are seeing a rise in drug overdose across the United States related to opiates and fentanyl. We have a lot of pill presses out there where people are making their own versions of whatever they want to make and pass off as the real deal. And many times people don't pay attention that they do look a little off in color, and the scoring may not be precise as what they would normally get in a pharmacy. And there you go. They're either very, very ill or dead. And, I hear often that, oh, I get it from the same person. I've always used this person. Well, you don't know where that person got it from and where that person got it from, and on and on and on. But people don't think about that. They're just trying to get something to relieve a little bit of stress and take the edge off and maybe block some pain. Um,
Yeah.
and we have to understand it's okay to talk to someone. And,
Yeah.
let's work on having accountability partners, that you build a relationship with someone that you truly trust, and say, hey, I'm not doing well. If you're not doing well mentally, there should not be any judgment. You contact your insurance company if you have insurance and say, hey, I need to find a therapist that accepts my insurance so I can talk to someone. It's okay to talk to someone. Sometimes you may feel comfortable talking to, your clergy. I think more clergy need to identify sometimes that there are mental health
Right.
concerns, even in the church. And people may not
Yeah.
feel comfortable in talking to
Well,
everybody.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to keep
No,
cutting you off, but yeah, I was just going to say that is a concern. So, at what point do we realize mental health? We keep saying mental health is important, but at what point do we really have someone in the church that can really identify that someone is struggling? We can't just say pray it away, because you can't just pray it away. I mean, that is an asset, or yes, we can do that in addition to, but how do we get people to see that this elephant is bigger than what people realize?
Jewel, it's through conversations like this. We have to encourage people to seek education. It's okay to ask for resources. We have to realize
Yeah.
therapists are a resource. If you're not comfortable or you don't know, then it's okay to call up someone and say, hey, I'm not trained in this. Can you guide me through this? I have someone that I know that is struggling in these areas. Um, in the state of Tennessee, we have some 24-hour services, where 800 numbers where people can call, like we have Tennessee Red Line. In now anyone can dial 988 in the United
Right.
States, which is for suicide. I think making people aware that there are resources out there, but sometimes we don't even know what the resources are in our community.
Right.
Start with your health
Right.
departments. Call your local health department and see if you have a health educator that come and maybe speak at your congregation, or come and speak at a board meeting and help educate and raise awareness.
Well, and that's the other thing. Even though you have them, There's health departments everywhere. My issue is that they can't relate. You know, a lot of people are they have the title, but have they been out in the community? Can they relate? Do they look like me and you? You know, do they have what kind of experience do they have? It can't nowadays. It cannot be just book knowledge. You know, you've got to have some experience.
You do. And in what we do in prevention, and they are utilized in addiction clinics as well, there are certified peer recovery specialists. And I think this is a great thing that has come about. These are individuals who are trained and have lived real live addiction experiences. By that,
Mhm.
some have gone to jail, some have survived overdose, some have been to prison. And these individuals are in your life to mentor you, to empower you. Some of them are in training facilities within local rehabs, different places in healthcare. Some are in a part of teams within doctors' offices to help individuals that have an addiction and some mental health. They are trained on different levels. There's different levels of CPRS. Some specialize with youth, some are trained in adult, but we can no longer make excuses in not getting the information, because Google is a very, very powerful tool now. And it
Yeah,
may take a little bit of time, but if you really want the information, I feel it's a lot more accessible, Jewel, now than it was even 5 to 10 years ago. I
yeah,
really,
I agree.
I, I really, really think that if we want to help people and they truly want help, it can be found. And then, like yourself and myself, if they're having problems or a brick wall, then reach out to one of us, either call or
Yeah.
send us a message on Messenger. And I know we will do what we can to steer them in the correct direction and give them, the tools to maybe help
Hmm.
them. I mean, I don't have a problem with taking time out of my day if that's what it takes to help someone get the resources that I feel they need and are entitled to. As a servant, I'm used to serving. I'm used to giving. So I'm fine with that. And I know you are too, because, having this dialogue, it's long past due in our culture. Sometimes when we were growing up, there were just things we were taught. You don't talk about certain things.
Hmm.
You used to hear that, oh, that person's just crazy. And when I think about some of those statements now, I'm like, wow, wow. I feel bad, but when you know better, you do better. And you move
Right.
on, and that helped breed some of the stigma that's out there, that it's not okay to have these type of dialogues. You just go pray about it, don't tell anyone, we're not going to talk about these things. But they were real life issues then, but
Yeah.
we didn't know how to open up the book and have a conversation.
And that's what's really so sad. It saddens me that here nobody knew how to start the conversation. You know, and here we are years later trying to get people to communicate, trying to have all these platforms so that we can come together and communicate. But now that you have this platform and I'm willing to share, we were talking about doing this every Saturday. So what does that look like for you? How do you want to come together so that we can bring information and knowledge um, to the platforms. I'm just curious to see if anybody's watching, if they want to come on, if they want to say something. Can you share so that people know that we are willing to talk about and have these conversations, at least, for however long it takes is what I'm thinking, but everybody's busy. I'm just not sure how involved or how many times you'd like to come on. But please let me know how we can, help bring the information and educate people. Because you've got some information and I already know you've been living it, helping, doing it. But how can we get more people to come on and go from there? I'm just excited that you are willing to come on and share.
Absolutely. We're not benefiting or helping anyone if we remain silent. Um, I had shared with my board in the coalition that when it was laid on my heart, I felt to do the warming station. And every city government, municipality has its own rules about having people stay in commercial buildings, how if they can stay overnight, and some codes require sprinkler system and all of this. When we did the warming station, because we do recovery classes and things like that here, we were already utilizing our facility 3 evenings a week. And I had shared with them that I was concerned about sending people out at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, back into the cold. And I had made up in my mind, and I told our vice president that if it's that cold, they're going to have to stay in here, and we'll have to deal with whatever we have to deal with after the fact. It was going to be too cold. I knew that hypothermia was not going to take very long for these individuals to set in. So sometimes
Mhm.
you just have to be willing to just step out there and say, I'm going to ride this wave, and you have to be passionate and be concerned about not giving up and see it through. And do you always know what the outcome is going to be? No, you don't. I didn't.
Yeah.
But I wasn't concerned about that. I was more concerned about saving lives and feeding people. And that's what we did. And all
Yeah.
8 of those people have told us, had you not done this, we would have probably froze to death. And that's something to hear someone say those words to you repeatedly. I probably would have froze to death. And I am like, I don't know what it's like in that experience. I've never lived that.
Right. Wow. I just commend you, and I'm just so proud of you for doing what you're doing to make a difference. And like I say, to be around that energy, someone who really wants to make a difference. I'm in a whole different state, and I don't even feel the energy here. And it's sad to say, but it's the truth, you know. But I do remember, helping feed the homeless and the working poor. And people are like, oh, it's exhausting. You can't save the world. No, we can't. But this is a different time. This is like humanity. When you see worldwide, statewide,
Mhm.
it just makes sense to find a way to get back to basics to help people. So
Absolutely.
with that Yeah, I'm just glad you were able to come on. Is there anything else you want to say? I know we have so much to talk about, and then when we come on here, it's like I forget everything that I thought I was going to say. And we just gel so well, and now I'm thinking, where's my notes? I can't reach them, but I do remember we were talking about the coalition. I guess can we still talk about the wellness, or it's so much and it's so broad. Maybe next week when we can't come on, we can have a more, I don't want to say dialogue, because somebody may want to come on, they may have a question. And like I said, if they would be willing to share, support, if you support the stars. We can donate to our favorite warming centers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do something. I'm just trying to get people to get used to the terminology, or get used to um, hearing
Mm-hmm.
this type of news on Facebook instead of just scrolling and being entertained. We really
Right.
need to get the word out. And anybody that wants to come on, we'll do this again next Saturday, the Saturday after next, the Saturday after next. Let us know what time would be good. We just picked this time, but if we need to come on later, just let us know. We just want to start having conversation. And everybody, I may not be as, um, what can I say? I may say the wrong thing, because I'm at the point where we need to bring awareness. So it's not always said as eloquently as other people. And so that's another reason why I have no problem sharing my platform, because we need to talk about it. We need to get the word out. But I
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming on. Anything else you want to say?
Um,
Um, just, oh,
I thank you for the opportunity. I would like to tell them if they have questions that they'd like to ask, that maybe they can message you or email you any of those questions if they want to join. We're here to serve and to educate. And the only way to bring awareness is to identify a need. And every
yeah.
community has some form of need, and you just kind of have to find your niche as what you feel your need is and go from there.
Well, that's good. That's good going out. And I'm curious to see how many people have help in the community, how many people want to help in the community, bringing them to the platform, asking questions. Um, I think that's important as well, because we do have resources and we are able to direct you. Yeah. So Deb is in Tennessee. I'm in Colorado. We're willing to have the resources, just want people to know that this is a place and a platform where you can ask the questions if you have a need, and get in touch with me. I can also get in touch with Deborah. The coalition again. Do you have a platform for the coalition yet?
No, you can find us on Facebook. It's Voices of Savannah TN on Facebook, and you can see about the work that we're doing. Next week, today, the past 2 days, we've given away free clothing um, for all ages and toys. Um, a lot of people have can't afford going to Goodwill. They
Mm.
don't have the money to buy brand new clothes. So we get a lot of donations of people that donate their clothes. They don't want to work with doing a yard sale, and they trust us as an organization. So today, the past 2 days, we have given away free clothing and shoes. And to hear people say, thank you, I couldn't do this, I couldn't afford that. You're meeting a need. You know, we have a blessing box that we operate on the weekend, and we say that we're helping people in between their blessing. We put household items out sometimes diapers and wipes and cleaning solution, trash bags, paper towels, personal hygiene stuff, and food. And people that are homeless or in between their blessing or in between paydays, they can come and get what they need out of that blessing box. And all we ask is take what you need and leave what you can. I'm a firm believer
Wow.
that if people are hungry, they're not going to listen to anything that you're saying. They're concentrating on that growling stomach or those hunger pains that they're encountering. So it's just trying to serve and fill in the gaps that others may have.
That's a beautiful thing. Well, I appreciate you for coming on, and I can't wait till we talk on the podcast Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I think, like I say, we can speak freely and be able to. I was trying to share this, but it's not letting me do what I need to do. I'll do it after the fact. But yeah, tune in everyone for Tuesday night. I will post that on my pages, and we'll have a deep conversation on Simply Jewel Atypical Podcast. Um, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and peace and blessings to you. Thanks
Peace
for
and blessings.
coming on.
Absolutely. And I'm proud of you for wanting to raise awareness. I mean, it takes courage to say, hey, there's a problem there. We need to be more vocal about some issues and come up with solutions across all our states and communities, raise that community awareness. So I applaud you for opening your platform up to
Yeah,
do that.
oh, well, thank you. I don't know. I just feel compelled to bring knowledge and awareness, and not just for, um, you know, Simply Jewel Cosmetics, but we for health services and just for people to get in alignment. That's my thing, is for people to get in alignment naturally. Uh, Whatever works. That's my goal. So thanks again, and we'll talk
All right.
soon. Okay? Are
Thank
you
you.
are you getting ready to go back to work, or do you have a few minutes after this?
No, you can call me.
Okay, good. Well, thanks everybody. Peace and blessings, and see you next
All
Saturday.
right.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.